figure out. It's probably gonna fall down. Damn it. Rawr. All right, let's see here. So I've got you guys over here, and I've got the chat over there. Let me move this over. It says it's still waiting for me to go live on one screen, but it's available on another, which makes no sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I'm going to go and flip that over there. Come here, you. Windows 11 gives you way too many opportunities. Hit the refresh button. I'm going to hit the refresh button. Shut up, phone. What do we got here? Why is this?
The new era of business is here. Use generative AI on AWS to optimize production.
Video plays soon.
And scale your business from
Oh, really? We're going to do that much? Man, it's really slow. I don't know what is happening. Guys, am I vertical? I mean, does it look like I'm laying sideways right now? Can you guys give me a sound check? Okay, Saul says 5x5. And I don't know what is going on. Just working through a tiny issue here. I don't know what it is, but that is okay. We'll get it going. All right. All right. Yeah, I don't know what is going. There's something going on with the internet. Hopefully it won't affect anything. Hopefully I'm not too choppy. My phone will not let me like do a YouTube live sideways. I've got every setting you can possibly set so that it rotates, so that it's what they call horizontal, all that stuff, but it just doesn't want to play. So yeah, that's the thing. Hopefully my phone won't fall down because it's literally being balanced on the front of a touchscreen, which I just tried to use, but its camera's all wacko. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and get into it. And guys, as usual, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, as that does draw people in, and tells the algorithm that we're here to stay. All right. Looks like, and I know this is wrong because let me see here. There we go. All right. So it looks like it's Rose, my mighty Rose, my strong Rose is first. Bradley Collins, number 2, and Jordan, you are deterred. Who else we got in here? We got Catitude, good morning. West Virginia Pappy, Saul is here. Tuck, where we got here? We got Tuck and Cuck, where we got JB the 25th. Nick is in the house. Heather Unleashed, I got you full screen on my phone. Okay, cool, appreciate it, Heather. I don't recognize you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And where are we at here? And Big Prepper is in the house as well. All right, so I've got the chat over here, and I've got I'm just going to pause. This is stupid. It's not doing me any good. I've got the chat over here, and you know what? I'm going to make it big. Make the chat so big so I can see everything. Now it doesn't want to shrink. Great. It only wants to get bigger. This is no bueno. All right, we're going to pop you back in. Send feedback. Yeah, you know what? Close. My computer is doing stupid stuff. I'm sorry for the technical issue, but I need the chat. Okay, there we go. This is something, I guess. Okay. All right, so we're all set. All right, and there's no Rumble today, and there's no X either, because obviously the location. Please don't mind the echo. They are 15-foot ceilings. And drink that morning coffee. Hopefully you guys have some yourselves. All right, let's see here. So as we go on with very gingerly walking around the things that could happen in our world that we either are preparing or not preparing for, you guys know that my focus is never to create any kind of fear porn. Simply stating the facts, moving on from there, and that's really about it. Doing some research yesterday, this all comes down to what would normally happen during, some of these critical events. It could be EMP, it could be, a coronal mass ejection, it could be invasion, but basically chaos. And I do have to apologize because My nose is going crazy this morning. I'll keep my hunker as low tone as possible. Good morning, Light Raider. Good to see you. Good morning, Loretta. But basically, it comes down to civil unrest. What will happen at a certain point? Basically, after those 3 days, as it slowly escalates into what it will be, possibly tribes are formed. Lots of different things that people think about. But I wanted to go over some of the basic things, in the standard format that I like to use that relays the information to you and then makes you think about 3 very key things to that piece of information. As usual, I read something, I talk to you about it, I read your stuff that you posted or you post stuff, and then I talk about it, and then we move on. So during a national crisis, the breakdown of law and order is a significant concern as civil unrest escalates. Law enforcement agencies may become overwhelmed, leading to increased crime, looting, and violence. In such situations, criminals and opportunists often take advantage of chaos, further destabilizing the communities. People may feel unsafe, and the social fabric can quickly deteriorate as trust in the authorities diminish. Citizens resort to self-defense or vigilantism, exasperating the situation. Now, the 3 key things that you want to take from that are that increased crime rates can lead to long-term community fear and mistrust. Also, local governments may struggle to maintain control, resulting in fragmented authority, and the community support systems such as neighborhood watches may break down. All of those things are very possible, but in a very less well-stated way. Because once the idea is that the fabric of our world would slowly crumble based on the lack of law enforcement, the without the rule of law, people would start instituting their own law. Obviously, it would be based constitutionally. Don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. There would be people that would be like, I'm going to mess with you anyway because I want your stuff. There could be lots of things. But that's the initial breakdown of law and order. Because the bottom line is there's more of us than there are them. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it'll always be. So let me go check the chat real quick here. Let's see. Heather says, I found your channel day before yesterday. I'm in Kansas City. Found your channel great to listen to while I was on duty. I'm a protection officer, so I try to prepare for what comes. Very nice. Very nice. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you. Also, Heather, I will be speaking at the, was it Kentucky? It's like, somebody put it in the chat if you know the name of it. I will be speaking in Kentucky at the end of October. I think it's like the 26th or something. It's Kentucky Homesteading and Preparedness something. Honestly, the brain is just not on right now. But yes, welcome to the channel, Heather. I appreciate you. Let's see. The next thing is curfews and martial law. Midwest Preparedness Festival. No, that's not it. There it is, Grumpy. Thank you. Kentucky Sustainable Living. Yes, I let Grumpy know in his live the other day that I was going to show up there, and Yoda, his that's his wife's call sign. Yoda is she's like, yay! Yes, it's in Bowling Green. Thank you, Grumpy. I think there's just too many words in the title. Kentucky Sustainable Living and Preparedness. Wait till I give my prepper my Prepper 101 class to all of the homesteaders. They're not going to be happy with me. Rose says, Canada having supply chain issues after a year of disputes. 2 top rails are striking, started today, will affect us and Mexico as well. Yes, I read about that this morning myself, Rose. It's very interesting. I really need to stop saying that because it's very cliche, to be honest with you. Well, that's interesting. People say that because they don't know what else to frickin' say. It's kind of disturbing because we've had railway issues. They're like, well, that's Canada. Well, I mean, how do you think that Canadian goods get here, and what goods are they? How do you think Canadian coal gets here? How do you think Canadian ore gets here? How do you think Canadian natural gas gets here? It's not all just a pipeline, guys. So it's an issue that we have to keep an eye on, and it will slowly cause problems probably over the next month. Will they be able to fix it? I don't know. Unfortunately, the Canadian government has a tendency to be very heavy-handed with strikers. We all saw that with the trucker strike. But they'll play their touchy-feely negotiating games for a little while, and then they'll just bring in the police. Let's see here, man. You guys are blowing up the chat here. She has low standards. I know, right? That's how you got her. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Oops, America should have kept up with their rail system. I mean, our rail system is still functional. It's just that the companies have decided to stop, working on certain things and accepting certain things. It's just the way it is. It's just not cost effective to, tear up, hundreds and hundreds of miles of rail just to replace it. I mean, I'm sure there's some cost benefits to that, but they're not going to do that. That's not how stockholder supremacy works. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to curfews and martial law. And oh, by the way, guys, at any moment, I'm actually waiting. So if you guys didn't hear or weren't paying attention on the when I was doing I kind of let the cat out of the bag. I don't really talk about it because I don't really think about things like that. But during the interview when I got interviewed on the Socialist channel, and then I cut it up into 5 pieces, I kind of let the cat out of the bag that someone shot through our front window at the shop several weeks back, it didn't shatter. It's a very, very large pane of glass. It's probably, I'm looking at it right now, it's probably 8 feet tall and at least 10, maybe 12 feet wide. But it's a huge piece of glass, and it's got a hole in it about that big. But anyway, it's being replaced today. So anytime I could be like, sorry, got to go, guys. But that should not happen until 9:30, which is in like 15, 20 minutes. No, like 45 minutes, something like that. Just kind of FYI, if I have to cut it short, that's the reason why. Also, guys, there's 30 people in here. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It draws more people in. We'll do something a little bit later on here. Let's see here. Every homesteader should prepare for emergencies. Never know when you might have to move from the path of natural disaster or chemical spills from trucks or derailed trains. That's true. That's true. I'm probably going to miss some of this, to be honest with you guys, because I'm trying to get through this. Bradley says that California is the largest hub for railways, and they want diesel-free engine cars. They want full electric, but it's not possible at the moment. Kind of scary because electric cars make up less than 1%. Yeah, it's a little foolish. There's nothing wrong. I'm going to talk about this briefly, but then we're going to move on. It's called parallel development. I ran into this. It's actually one of the reasons that I retired from the military, because the military never wants to do. When you are phasing something out and phasing something in, you have to do what they call parallel development. It's where, like, if you had a bar graph and there's the top bar over here, and this is fuel vehicles, right? And we're building those fuel vehicles, right? And they're going along, and this is our timeline, okay? And then we're moving on in time. And then what you've got to do is you've got to start to build these electric vehicles and start to build them as rapidly as possible. But you have to slow down the development of the fuel vehicles, okay? And so that what they do is they're like, and then slowly, and then you stop, slow down, and then that becomes your prime source, okay? And you have to do that, otherwise the one can never catch the other. And so if that were the case, and that's what they're trying to do, they're trying to stop fuel vehicles, but they don't understand, and they think. This is like right up there with the Obama stuff, where you remember, like, they were like crushing, they were like buying used cars, and giving these great rates for brand new cars. You turn it in, and then instead of them putting them back on the market, they were putting them in the car crushers. So, not a lot of logic there. So, okay, so Little Dry Creek showed up. Good to see you. Good to see you. Chair Bear showed up. Good morning. Where we at here? And I think we are in the house. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So curfews and martial law. They're often imposed to restore order, limiting movement and personal freedoms. If they institute martial law, basically the Constitution is now null and void. Unfortunately, that's the way it actually works. Whenever they issue martial law, they do it in a specific place, in a specific area. It is like a zone, and inside that zone, it is now military rule. So your constitutional rights can be completely usurped. It's a big word. Governments may restrict citizens' activity during certain hours to prevent gatherings that could incite further violence. These measures, while intended to maintain peace, can cause frustration and resentment among the population. The imposition of martial law usually involves the military, which might lead to clashes with civilians. The restrictions can disrupt daily life, affecting work, education, and social interactions. The three main things you should understand from that is that curfews can lead to economic losses as businesses are forced to close early or entirely. Essential workers might face difficulties reaching their workplaces, impacting critical services, and violation of curfew laws can result in harsh penalties, further straining relationships between citizens and authorities. Martial law is no joke. The guiding principle behind martial law is that everything else has failed. If the military has to be used in martial law, everything else has failed. So it's not a good thing. Now that doesn't mean that you're gonna have like stormtroopers kicking your doors open. Get back on your porch. That's not what martial law is. Martial law is taking away our constitutional legal system temporarily so that order can be restored. And once that happens, and there is a robust system in place to ensure that it stays restored, that the martial law is lifted. That's the golden plan. That's the way martial law is written into military doctrine. And that's the way it should work. Now, the fear is that it won't. And unfortunately, there's a lot of fear when we start talking about martial law. Are these soldiers really good guys? I'm just doing my job. Pew pew. No, I think that's less than the 10%. That's like the 1% issue, I'm wondering who that is. It just pulled up in front of the building, but that's okay. We'll figure that out when the time comes. Let's see here. Jordan says, we had curfews, home radius travel restrictions, drink limits, and appointments for everything, including grocery stores, during that thing we can't speak about in Europe. We created a speakeasy. Oh, absolutely. The thing is, too, is I hate to say this, but human beings need to be able to relieve stress, and that is one way that they do it. It's also a way to create community, and it works. It works. And the thing is like one of the first businesses that go out whenever you're in a martial law situation is all of the restaurants and establishments. They have to close up, or not establishments, but the bars. They have to close up because they operate primarily at night after work, and that's when they don't want people out running around. So they have to close those, and those are the first ones to go out of business. It's a real problem. Pitchforks, I know, right? Oops. Hey, good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to supply chain disruptions, which we were just speaking about a little while ago. Man. Here we go. Supply chain disruptions are common consequences of civil unrest, leading to shortages of food, medicine, and other essential goods. Transportation networks may be blocked or unsafe, halting the flow of goods to and from affected areas. Factories and warehouses might shut down due to safety concerns or damage, reducing the availability of products. These shortages can lead to panic buying, hoarding, and price gouging, making it difficult for many people to access necessities. In severe cases, prolonged disruption can lead to a humanitarian crisis. Hold on a second here. Excuse me. The three things to take away from that is panic buying and hoarding exacerbates shortages, leaving vulnerable populations without essential goods. Price gouging becomes rampant, making basic necessities unaffordable for many. And humanitarian organizations may struggle to deliver aid due to unsafe conditions and disrupted supply chains. Now, these are all very valid statements. Tuck says, I chose supply chain disruptions. Prolonged disruptions can bring on the three, I think. This is one of the problems that I have with that whole heart thingy that you can do. I can't. It blocks text. And you know what? Let's go ahead, because honestly, I forgot to tell you guys about the poll. And in the poll, which outcome of civil unrest concerns you the most? And right now, breakdown of law and order is winning at 58%. 22% say supply chain disruptions, and 11% say mass displacement, and 8% say increased military presence, and a whopping 36 votes, which I truly appreciate. That's probably the most votes we've had on a poll in a while. Water and TP issues we had during the thing we can't speak about. Yep, absolutely true. JS Badger, good to see you, bro. Just another day on the Ponderosa. Do something instead of plastic water. Do something instead of plastic water. I don't know what that means. Okay, let's see here. Communication blackouts. Communication blackouts are often implemented to control the spread of information and prevent misinformation during civil unrest. Governments may restrict access to the internet, social media, and other communication platforms to prevent the coordination of protests or the spread of panic. While this can help prevent the escalation of violence, it also limits citizens' ability to stay informed and connected. In the absence of reliable information, rumors and false reports can spread quickly, further destabilizing the situation. The lack of communication can also hinder emergency response and coordination among essential services. Now, the three main things you need to take from that are that communication blackouts can lead to isolation, with citizens unable to reach loved ones or access vital information. Also, misinformation can spread rapidly through the word of mouth, causing confusion and fear. And emergency services may struggle to coordinate responses without reliable communication channels. Now, the big one that's inside of there, it was actually the middle one. If you've ever spent time on a naval vessel at war, and obviously very few of you, the rumor mill can cause real problems. I heard this, and I heard that, and we're going to go do this, and this guy works on the bridge, and he heard this, and so from time to time, the captain needs to come on the 1MC, which is the big speaker system in the entire ship, and say, guys, stop with the rumors. When something happens, when I have information, I will tell you what it is. Let's stop with all these rumors. That is all, and the reason he has to do that is because the rumor mill can destroy morale. Now, if you take that and apply that to a civil unrest situation, and people are playing the "I heard" game, well, I tell you what, I would be looking at your sources very hard. These people that are talking about "I heard," it's wow. Let's see here, Christopher B. Hello, new to the channel. Hey, Christopher, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bro. I'm normally here at 9 a.m., but today was a different day, so. Let's see here. Rumint is not int. Rumor intelligence is what he's talking about. I need to stop drinking the water bottles. I am so bad at that, but they are the rumors most times. Loose lips sink ships. Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Yeah, I was able to read between the lines, bro. Okay, so with that said, rumor mill ran rapid through work in 2008. Oh yeah, everybody had. Oh, I heard this, or my opinion is, it's like your opinion, dude. Please tell me more about the time that you worked at the CDC. Please let me know about that time that you were an advisor to the president, that you were on his ghost panel or something, that you were part of the secret council of dreamers that were advising people, tell me more about that. But I think we all know about that kind of crap. All right, so the next thing that happens in this, now we're starting to move more into time, is the economic decay. Now, economic decay is likely an outcome of prolonged civil unrest, with businesses closing or being destroyed. The destruction of property, loss of life, and disruption of economic activities have long-lasting effects on the nation's economy. Basically, my thumbnail for this video. Unemployment may rise as businesses shut down, leading to increased poverty and social instability. Investors may withdraw from the country, further weakening the economy. In the aftermath, rebuilding efforts can be slow and costly, with long-term impacts on economic growth. Now, the magic three for that big statement right there is that unemployment rates are going to soar. They're going to lead to increased poverty and increased social unrest. It's systemic. It's going to, one feeds the other, okay? The destruction of infrastructure can take years to repair, stalling economic recovery. You can't open a business without a shop because the shop got burned down, you know? Things like that, which is, you know, if you think about it, many of the businesses, one of the things that I think about in when I try to compare things to what the world would look like without the infrastructure that we have is the open air shops that you saw in the movie Gangs of New York. All the open air shops, the big business, the people that were like controlling business in these burbs were actually had inside shops. Remember the butcher? He had like a building, and you know there was, but for the most part, people were just trying to survive with their carts, and I see that as something too. And we covered that. Let's see here. Let me go to the chat here. I almost never buy bottled water. I carry stainless water bottles. There you go. I have SS bottles, but mostly use glass jug with finger loop on it. There you go. Yeah, to each their own. To each their own. You know. And I'll be honest with you. You know, they still, guys, they do make they do make plastic water containers that are BP free. You know. So there you go. It's you guys have to remember that our world was changed dramatically with the advent of plastics. Everything is, you're watching me on plastic and glass. Any questions? So, you know, we have to realize that it's going to be to each their own. And hey, listen, if you can buy a BP water bottle, and I'm not talking about the gas station, but anyway, so to each their own. All right, so let's talk next about the healthcare system. The healthcare system may become overwhelmed during civil unrest, particularly if there is a high number of injuries or concurrent crises such as pandemic, hospitals, and clinics. May be unable to keep up with the influx of patients, leading to a shortage of medical supplies and personnel. This strain can result in inadequate care for both the injured and those with chronic illnesses and other health needs. The spread of disease may also be, oh, nice little hearts. I appreciate you guys. Good morning, Laszlo. Leading to shortage of medical supplies and personnel. The strain can result in inadequate care for both the injured and those with chronic illnesses or other health needs. The spread of disease may also be exacerbated by poor living conditions and the collapse of sanitation systems. In extreme cases, the healthcare system may collapse entirely, leading to widespread suffering and preventable deaths. The three major things you should take from that is that overwhelming hospitals may have to triage patients, leaving some without care. We talked about this day before yesterday. Medical supplies, including life-saving medications, may run out, leading to preventable deaths. Public health measures such as vaccination campaigns may be disrupted, including the risk of disease outbreaks. Now, here's what I will tell you about that V word that I just talked about. Guys, there is a difference between a vaccination and an immunization. Okay? I have been immunized so many times, it's not even funny. I have a little special book that I had to carry around with me in different countries to show them that I had all their little shots that they needed. And here I am, just fine. There's a difference, and that's what I'll say about that. And so for those people that are not into those particular things, then I understand that. Many humans lived for many years long before those things existed. But I will tell you that there are some that did extend our lives because we were able to get rid of diseases. So that's where I'll leave that. That's where I'll leave that. Let's see here. I have a. Oh, I read that. I'm not ingesting my phone as far as I know. You don't know that. Oops. Let's see here. JS, I appreciate you, bro. Worked through many hours when hospital closed their ER and were diverted to our facility. Through we in just as bad shape. Gotcha, Rose. Yeah, here's the thing, guys. Hospitals will close their doors in emergencies when they're just like, we're full. We can't handle any more people. Because now you're starting to degrade the quality of care to the people that are already there. They'll close their doors. They'll send, well, no, we're closed. Go over to, to St. John's, or go over to, First Memorial, or whatever it is. They will divert things. They'll do it. They'll do it. And what do you think is going to happen in a crisis situation when all of the hospitals are full? When they have to close their ERs? It's a problem. If you stretch that out, what happens when the power goes out and they only have 3 days worth of gasoline, and that will be only for emergencies? What happens where it's actually diesel, but what happens when that runs out? You know what I'm saying? And what happens when the doctors realize that this is, well beyond their capabilities and they just go home? What happens then? So Big Prepper says, better have Jace medical supplies. Very true. Very true. It's funny because it never hit me. You know what time is it? We're running out of time. I can't talk about that. We'll talk about that I want to have a conversation about medications. Not life-saving, but life-maintaining medications. I think it's a serious conversation that we need to have, and I'm going to talk more about it, but I can't do it right now. So, all right. So the next thing, where are we at here? Connected to you, sir. Got you chilling. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Doing not found. Okay. Sorry, work call. I'm back. What did I miss? We're just jamming on, man. Stars in the house. Here in Ontario, Canada, wait time over 10 hours. A lot. Emergency rooms closed. They take turns. Yeah, I got you. Canada. I think Star's like our only Canadian left. I did message Alan the other day on TikTok, but he never responded. So I don't know, man. I really hope he's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Increased military presence is often seen during civil unrest as governments deploy troops to restore order. The military can be called in to assist overwhelmed police forces, leading to more forceful response to unrest. This can result in confrontations between armed forces and civilians, the potential for violence and casualties. The presence of the military can also escalate tensions, as some citizens may see it as an oppressive measure. However, in some cases, the military's involvement can help to restore peace more quickly than law enforcement alone. Yeah, guys, 3 things real quick, and then we're going to talk about this. The military's presence may be seen as a threat, leading to increased resistance from protesters. Armed confrontations between civilians and the military can result in significant casualties, and not on the military side. The use of military force can lead to long-term distrust between the population and the government. That is true. We've talked about this before, and we also have someone in the chat right now who's listening, and you do not have to state your opinion, but it's very easy to realize that if you have a police force in a town, in a city, and something goes wrong, and they are 100% overwhelmed, and the crisis event is so huge that there's no way for them to do anything. Many times what will happen is that these police officers, they will think of their families more than anything else. They'll have brothers in blue, but they'll think of their families more than anything else and be like, listen, I got to go check on the wife. I got to go make sure the kids are safe. And that's what I expect them to do. And their brothers and sisters in blue would expect them to do the exact same thing. I'll be back when I can be back. You know, there's nothing in a police officer's oath, whether it's constitutional or via, the federal constitution or the constitution of the state, or what is written into their oath by their organization, that says you have to stay here and ignore what's happening with your family. And if there is, you probably need to find work elsewhere. So just kind of a thought, guys, just kind of a thought. Let's see here. Chris says he's looking into, or wants you to start looking into alternate meds that are natural. Yes, exactly. I mean, there are some out there that will work, but for the most part, our pharmaceutical capabilities are unbelievable. Tuck says, I would see military presence as provocative. We should only be seeing military in 3 places: at the borders, the territorial waters, at home, or leave, or on leave. What happens after? That's what happened after Hurricane Katrina. I have somebody who was a very high-ranking member of the support organizations that responded to Katrina. He lives right here in my town, and I've seen pictures of him standing in the White House. He's pretty well known. So I plan on interviewing him and finding out what actually happened with Katrina, because he's told me some stories that will dispel a lot of rumors. And what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of crap in the rumor mill about Katrina that just didn't happen. So let's see here. Deputize community members to support. Yes, that is something that they can do. But the problem is that once you do that, now you have somebody who's completely untrained, and you've literally just given him authority. That's all you've done, that most people may not even recognize. So let's see here. My small town police department is already understaffed. It wouldn't take much to overwhelm them. Yeah, exactly. Most of them, honestly, I want to say that the town that I live in is probably got, I think I've seen like 6 or 8 of them. That's about it. Let's see here. Detroit 1967, Detroit 1968, Detroit 1984. I got you, Rose. Ask Gray Man Prepping. There you go. All right. And I want to tell you, I see something, guys, that I've never seen before, and I appreciate it. There's actually more thumbs up than there are people watching the stream right now. That's pretty freaking awesome. And I appreciate you. All right, so we've got to that point in the live stream where I need you to put a number 1 in the chat if you love your country, America, or just America for us locals, And that just beats up the algorithm. Just do it. If you don't understand, if it's your first time, I'm just asking you to help me out with the algorithm. That's really all it is. And obviously, it's a true statement for you, Let's see. Yesterday was the anniversary of Ruby Ridge. Remember the fallen patriots? Gotcha. We've seen all these ones. I'm going to sip a little coffee while you do that. It's exhausting watching all these ones. Ooh. All right, let's see here. Don't believe the small towns would have much of a problem, as well as the big cities. Oh, yeah, the big cities, that's awful, man. Listen, there's over 1 million sworn officers that are New York City police officers. And they would still have a problem keeping order in New York City. Okay? America. I like the eagle. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here. Mass displacement. Mass displacement is a common consequence of severe civil unrest, with people fleeing violence or destruction. Large numbers of peoples may be forced to leave their homes, either seeking refuge in other parts of the country or crossing borders to escape danger. This can lead to a refugee crisis, with camps and shelters becoming overcrowded and undersupplied. Displaced individuals may face harsh living conditions with limited access to food, clean water, and medical care. The social and economic impact of mass displacement can be felt for years as communities struggle to rebuild and reintegrate displaced populations. So basically, things are really bad here. We need to move. But the three things to take from that are overcrowded refugee camps can lead to the spread of disease and poor living conditions. Displaced individuals may lose their livelihoods, leading to long-term poverty and dependence on aid. And host communities may struggle to accommodate large numbers of refugees, leading to tensions and conflict. A perfect example of this is we have like real refugees that like certified, like through the State Department, came from, their refugees from another country. And you bring these guys in and he's like pushing a mop and somebody's talking to him and it's, hey, and he's like, hey, how are you? And, you know, and he's got his accent and they're like, where are you from? Well, I'm from so-and-so. What'd you do back there? I was a doctor, you know? And so there's going to be a struggle wherever you end up, you know? Let's see. Oof. Ears are freaking out a little bit there. So then we're going to get into the more psychological things. So the polarization and fragmentation of society. They are likely as civilian unrest deepens, existing divisions within a nation, different political, social, and ethnic groups may become more entrenched in their positions, leading to increased tension and conflict. The crisis can exacerbate existing inequalities, with marginalized groups bearing the brunt of the unrest. In some cases, this can lead to the rise of extremist movements or secessionist tendencies, I'm saying that all wrong, threatening the nation's unity. Basically secession from the nation. The long-term effects of such polarization can be difficult to reverse, with deep-seated mistrust and resentment persisting even after the immediate crisis has passed. Three things to take from that are marginalized communities may feel increased isolation and targeted, leading to radicalization. Political polarization can lead to gridlock in government, making it difficult to resolve the crisis. Boy, we see that already. And ethnic and social divisions can lead to violence and long-term conflicts, threatening national unity. Now, some people put some stuff in the chat. So Big Prepper says, you have to configure, you know, I can't believe I don't. I really wish I could do something with that. Go to chat, print, remove. Nothing I can do about that. All right. Right now I got it stuck. There it is. You have to consider the people would flock from city and into the nearby country. If the supply chain was to be hit during the Great Depression, people that didn't even know how to hunt left the city. I got you. Community is pretty close. Barry Payne says North Alabama is being inundated by Haitians. I'm beginning to think it is strategic. Oh, I don't know about that. We have probably it's been about a year since we've started to see them. During that thing we can't speak about, we had a lot of Dominicans just kind of appear overnight. And now we have a lot of I want to say, for lack of better words, not South Africans, but Africans. Basically, they all speak a common language, Mugambe. And I hear them talking in the Walmarts. And you have to kind of time there's too many people here now. And it's just right at that level. And I think that the government is placing them and going, okay, we got to stop over here. There's too many people. It's not like people will notice. It's like people will start to complain, and I think that's what the issue is going to be at some point. Most people out in the sticks will take care of themselves and each other and let the cities crumble. Yes, absolutely, Christopher. I completely agree. All right, let's see here. Human rights violations, last but not least. And this is like the bottom of the bucket. This is that 10% of people that probably don't deserve to be here. But Human rights violations are a serious risk during civil unrest, as governments may resort to extreme measures to regain control. Unlawful detentions, excessive use of force, and the suppression of freedoms are common in such situations. These situations can lead to widespread fear and resentment among the population. Where are we at here? I looked away for a second. Undermining the government's legitimacy. In the aftermath, there may be calls for accountability and justice, leading to further unrest and instability. The long-term impact of such violations can be profound, with lasting damage to a nation's reputation and international relations. The key three things you want to take from that are that unlawful detentions can lead to overcrowded prisons and human rights abuses. The excessive use of force can result in civilian casualties and long-term trauma, and suppression of freedoms such as speech and assembly can lead to internal condemnation and isolation. The key, one of the things that's like, it's like hidden in what we just talked about, is that we've already seen this in the world. This is what happened to Germany during World War II, but it was the exact opposite. It was flip-flopped. Everybody joined in, and then they all like, hey, it's okay. Okay, it's okay to do what you're doing, guys. And now, I mean, you can't use the N-word, okay? And I don't mean the American N-word. I mean the German N-word. You can't use that word in Germany without somebody like, Krrr. And they've got to a point where the younger generation have almost forgotten, which was their plan all along. You know, they do have historical sites. I've actually been to a place called Dachau, where they actually housed the prisoners and put them in the ovens. In a few of the, actually they used them. Well, the ovens were later. They gassed them first. They put them in a shower. They pretended that, hey, we're cleaning you up, we're taking care of you, and then basically pumped the place full of gas, and then they died. And then the ones that didn't die were probably shot, and then they put them in the ovens in the next room to get rid of everything else, and then they piled all the dust up outside. Yeah, it's very interesting. And once again, I've got to stop saying that because it's very blah. But the human nature can so very easily, without morals and values, can so easily tip to a point where you're doing things that are just atrocious. So we have to be very conscious of that, and we have to think about our actions, you know, and even looking past our personal emotions to what could be our future if we make a decision that is similar to that. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Where are we at here? My stepdad is a sheriff, and even he has said the same, and their top priority is protecting their families. If society falls into chaos, they have a storehouse in the sticks full of equipment in case. There you go, Big Prepper. There you go. Here in Indy, 2 Honduran families got into shootout over property still in Honduras. Yeah, I know. It's very tribal, and that's the thing. Here in America, we don't think tribally. For thousands of years, tribes could live, within their specific regions. But the second you crossed into their land, they went to war. They knew what war was. They had paints for war. They have colors for war. They have weapons for war. They had a war bow and they had a hunting bow. The tribal mentality doesn't work in America, and I would hate to see it come back. Now, I do believe that we can live tribally, but we have to do it in a civil manner. Let's see here. I've retired in 22. More officers than people think. The same way, not as much of the newer officers, though. Gotcha. Okay, so going to the polls. Let's go to the polls real quick here. Gangs are just modern tribes to an extent. Yes, Big Prep, to an extent. But with gangs, they're not really focused on making things better. They're focused on making things better for themselves. All right, so in the poll here, we got 59%. The question was, Which outcome of civil unrest concerns you the most? 59% said the breakdown of law and order. 21% said supply chain distributions. 11% said increased military presence. And 9% said mass displacements, with a record 56 votes. That's pretty freaking awesome, guys. That's pretty freaking awesome. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel. Let's see here. Also, time to pay some bills. If you guys don't have your Prep Stock tickets, go to prepstock.net. It is going in Nebo, North Carolina, October 12th to the 13th. It's going to be a blast. I will be there. I will be speaking. I will be helping Jess to run things. I'll be making coffee and cooking hot dogs and basically doing general stuff to make things great for you guys. Also, we got a lot of gifts to give away. All of our sponsors, instead of giving money, they gave us gifts, which is what we asked for. And yeah, we're going to give them to you guys if you show up. If you got a ticket, you're in. Okay, I think that's going to be about... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. There's an Amazon link in the description. If you want to help out Prep Stock, you can't come and you want to help, or your archive, or whatever. We need coffee. We need... we need the basic essentials to make things better. It's still going without that. We'll just buy it ourselves. We're already in the red, so we're like, whatever. But we need your help. There's an Amazon link there. Nobody makes any money off of it. And it's just to help Prep Stock be better. So if you want to help out that way, then please do. Also, on the YouTube side, if you guys have not gotten your YouTube membership, please take a look at that. There's a link in the description. There are benefits. Membership has its privileges, and these guys probably get twice as many videos as you guys do on the free side. All right, guys, that's going to be about it. I got to go. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Bye-bye. And thanks for hanging out.